There you are, darling. Come closer. That's it. Where else could you possibly belong than here, with me? Beneath the velvet embrace of midnight, where shadows breathe secrets and memories dance upon the edges of decay. Tonight, I hold an echo for you, a story buried deep within the ash of despair. We call it the Whispering Ashes. You might be tempted to look away, to spare yourself the truths within, but I assure you, my dear, the story has already found you. The cemetery stood at the edge of town like a forgotten wrinkle of history. Most walked past it without even noticing, every headstone etched with names whose stories had long turned to dust. And yet, if you listened closely, on the nights when the fog cocooned the earth like the veil of an unseen mourner, you could hear them. A whisper here, a sigh there, a lonely hum drifting through the air as though the dead had grown restless or impatient. Maybe you've heard whispers before. Haven't we all? In the stillness of twilight or between midnight and dreaming. But have you ever stopped to wonder what they truly want? Perhaps they want you. Elliot, a man not prone to superstition, had just moved into a cottage bordering this very cemetery. He was practical, a man of rules and routines. Mornings for coffee, afternoons for work, and evenings sealed behind curtains, blocking out the eerie glow of the cemetery's ancient lanterns. Yet, his curiosity about this peculiar place grew like a thorn in his mind. His first mistake? Listening too hard. One evening, in a moment that would inevitably define him, Elliot wandered out there. The fog was heavier than he expected, wet and bone-chilling. His footsteps softened on dampened moss, his breath whispering like ghosts of his own. The headstones stood shoulder to shoulder, names carved in a language he couldn't decipher. But it wasn't what he saw that froze him. It was what he didn't see. A murmur grew louder as he walked deeper into the graveyard, the sound weaving like thread around his ears. At first, indistinguishable, a collection of fragmented sighs and gasps, then distinct. Words. Hear us. See us. Remember. Did you just feel it? That crawling prick at the base of your spine? The thing Elliot ignored, mistaking discomfort for mere imagination. But imagination, my dear, is often just the doorway to deeper truths. Soon, Elliot began dreaming of ash, piles of it pouring from his own hands, whispering across his bed at night. No matter how tightly he shut his windows, he would wake up with a fine dusting of soot on his blankets. Memories not his own began seeping into him during these midnight visions. Women in mourning veils, men clenching blood-stained letters, children clutching crumbling dolls. They were faces, all trapped in a reality Elliot barely comprehended. Lately, they weren't just showing him their joys and pain. They were showing him their rage, a shattering loneliness. And oh, darling, rage has a way of growing all-consuming, doesn't it? Elliot turned to books, history records, and even the handful of elders left in town. And slowly, the sinister truth began to unwind itself. This cemetery wasn't merely a resting place for the forgotten. It was a dumping ground for the wronged, those denied fair burial rites or condemned by hasty judgment. The land had served as a cover-up for sins older than the stones marking it, betrayals written in whispers and silences long swallowed whole. One chilling night, a sensation of void beyond comprehension, Elliot stood again in the graveyard. Smoke began to rise from the soil as though the entire place was breathing. And then came the ash, curling and hissing around him. It whispered fragments of stories. A woman betrayed by her lover who blamed her demise on witchcraft. A child lured into darkness by a so-called savior. A man killed by edict for treasons never committed. They all spoke, begging not simply for remembrance, but for reckoning. Elliot's flashlight flickered. The ash spiraled upward, tightening into figures. Skeletal hands reached, pleading, pointing, with no eyes to meet. But then, in a visceral crescendo, they turned their focus directly upon their unexpected visitor. And now, my dear denizen of the dark, I leave the final memory with you, for I'd hate to spoil the very feast of terror. Let's just say, this once forgotten cemetery no longer desires to remain forgotten. Whether whispers or screams, it will make sure no soul passes by unseen, least of all yours. So, tell me, can you still see the dancing ash in your dreams? Oh, but don't fret. You can always leave the lights on tonight. Or not. After all, as the saying goes, the dead always find the living. Until next time, darling, hold your breath and cherish the shadows. They just might cherish you back.